shirts. I just realized.
Well, there you go. What's your shirt?
Awkwardly
Oh,
coordinated. I got Owl Joel sent on today.
Al
You got
Jolson.
Cab Cal. Daddy's
I got
his
Cab Calloway.
Go to this division.
In honor of Black Women's Month, I got Cab Calloway.
Is it Black Women's Month? I didn't know that Cab Calloway was a Black woman.
He is.
It's very exciting.
You know what? We just
Don't go
talk
there.
about it. That's all. I
Don't
don't
go.
discuss it.
Don't go there.
Don't go there.
Don't go there. All right. Let's see if everyone's functioning. Let us pray. I can't tell you how many times I've written to Facebook at this point, asking them why they like to consistently murder us on the internet. I will never know why, but they do.
They just shut us down.
But they do.
Without warning.
So, again, I'm trying so hard. But
because it's nothing personal against any of you.
No, no.
So
like
if there's anybody with a touch of paranoid
No.
feeling,
It's not
about
you.
this, it's
I know
not
they're out
you.
to get me.
It's
I know
Facebook.
I know
It's
It's
not
Facebook, and Facebook
I'm
wants
watching
to
too
make
many
me a crazy person.
Sydney Greenstreet films.
Too many Sydney Green
Anyway.
Street. Facebook,
Never
hear me,
enough.
baby, hold together. Yeah, right, Jerry? Please, Facebook. Just keep working. That's all I'm asking, all right?
Is it working now or not?
But it's working now, Mom.
Oh,
That's
fine. Well,
usually
hello.
the beginning is not the issue.
Oh, I know. I
It's several
understand.
moments in. Now, Instagram over here, I have turned on its side because obviously normally people say, oh, your videos, you can't see the three of you. That's because Instagram is normally like this. But I did this, and you can tell me if it's making you crazy
It
or
should
not.
make me look much thinner because it's narrow.
Plusky, you're so tiny. You don't
I am
need to
tiny.
be any smaller.
I don't know how I got quite so tiny.
I do. You started small.
Well, yeah, I was.
You started
never-
as a
yeah,
tiny
it's true.
person. I was my mother's height in third grade, and I will never forget for the life of me. We were standing next to each other, and you began to sort of look up, and you said, "It's all over, isn't it?" I
That's
said,
right.
"Mhm."
That's right. That little thing there is looking up
This-
at me.
This little bitty mommy.
Yeah.
But I always
yeah.
say you're pocket sized, which
Well-
I find useful. I can keep you with me wherever I go.
Depends.
Love the t-shirts. Thank you.
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
We didn't mean to coordinate.
No,
We
no,
didn't.
it was.
But-
This was unplanned. This was completely spontaneous.
Completely spontaneous.
I just want to say that you're looking at two healthy, mature adults.
Oh yes,
They
we are
just
now.
got their
Just
second
had our
shot.
second
We are now
shots.
fully inoculated.
That's right.
We have Moderna and
We've been shut up.
You've been shot.
we
See,
have
again,
a-
that I wouldn't say.
Okay.
That
See?
that's not how I'd put it.
wow. See,
You've just
All right.
been shot up.
he is so wrong.
You're so wrong. Dad.
And I'm so
wrong.
right.
You're so right.
I'm so right.
That's no. Now, all right. Here's the most important marital advice my father has ever given me and everyone else we know.
It is not enough
Mm-mm.
that mommy is right,
That's right.
but that I am wrong.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
It's not
That is
just
the
that
way it
she's
is,
right. It's
exactly.
that he's wrong.
That's
Remember
right.
that for later.
Yes.
If you're married now,
Okay.
use it. If
It's,
you plan
you
on
know,
getting married,
Next week,
do that.
46 years.
Can't believe it.
And don't we have a happy marriage, honey?
Yes.
Oh, there you
Oh
go.
yes.
Oh, see, it's work. It's going.
Who would dare deny it?
It's going.
I believe it.
And I just
as,
want
as he continues to sink into the
into-
couch.
I know. Why
Okay.
why am I sinking?
Because you're
like
a
that?
Because both
sinker.
of my parents are shrinking, is
Yeah.
what's happening.
Well, it's
The
not a
two
very
of
nice
you.
thing to say. And you know,
But
I,
accurate.
I was thinking about that 90-day fiance show that I
yes.
never watched.
Yes.
Well, Daddy and I got engaged in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And
So are you saying that you're
worked
essentially 90-day fiance?
No, we're more like 45 days.
45. You know.
Okay.
but, you know. we
40
just- it worked.
Well, Scott and I got married in under a year of officially being a couple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because all right, my favorite story, my husband has never proposed to me. We are married, but my husband did
It's
not
happy.
propose.
They don't love each other.
No,
They're
we don't
sad.
like each other at all.
No, no.
And what happened was my husband was visiting the very first time he ever came out here to LA and the very first time he ever met my parents. And my mother informed him that we needed to get engaged. So she knew that we were serious
I'm very
about each other.
old-fashioned. I'm just
And
so old-fashioned.
so while we've been
And
friends for a very, very long time. We had only been dating at that point for 5 months. And my mom said, you guys have to get engaged.
I
And
want to
so
know he's serious because
I went and told.
also they were separated by oceans
Well, yeah.
and land.
Some of us guys don't get it. I mean, I know. Mommy and I decided to get married,
Yep.
and then she said, "Well, but you haven't proposed to me. We're not engaged."
Right.
I said, "Well, we're going to get married."
hmm
there's a ritual to the
They
thing.
never
I've told
really
husband-
proposed.
I've told
I'm a
husband
little
1,000
annoyed.
times, husband has to propose to me one day. And he keeps saying that, his favorite thing to say to me is, we're a modern couple, wife. We don't have to get engaged. We're already married. And I said, honey, I don't care. I want to be proposed to.
Yeah.
And he says, well, then you have to propose to me. To which I say, well, in that case, I'm going to do the thing that you hate the most, which is be in front of people.
Oh,
So I said, like at a Dodger game or something horrible. But his what's the word in when you're doing JSA, when you're
You do.
arguing, his rebuttal, there it is. His rebuttal is, I'll say no. So if I try to propose to him at Dodger Stadium or somewhere massive, he will just say no. It's all going well, guys. It's all going really, really well.
Very good.
anyway,
We're very
anyway,
Yeah.
we're on the
Bunch of
road.
goofs.
We're on the road to continued health.
Yeah.
Yes, and we
Yeah,
are
yeah.
really hoping. Mind you, we're going to continue wearing the mask.
Oh yeah,
We're going to continue to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
I wear gloves, plastic gloves in stores.
I keep saying she looks like Dora the Explorer
Well,
because she's got a little backpack and she's got her cane
well,
and she's got a little gloves on and her mask and she comes out and everybody thinks she's the cutest thing in the world because she is, obviously.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I just say she looks like Dora the Explorer.
Thank you. I put them on when I go in, and when I come out, I take them off and throw them away. That way, I'm not carrying germs in anywhere.
Yeah.
And so far, it's
Because my
worked.
mother,
That's
full
all
of
I can
germs.
say is it's worked. I
Full
don't
of
know.
germs.
Yeah.
I write to you from Spain. Hello in Spain.
Hello, Spain.
Greetings in Spain.
Yes.
Good. Spain. What did you guys end up watching last night? Did you watch that
we
horror
watched,
film?
we watched a
Yeah,
great movie.
wow.
We watched,
So it's as good as you hoped it would be.
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
we watched
very
Dear
powerful.
Comrades by Andrei Konchalovsky.
Which is the
Russia's,
Russian-
Is it on, or is it
and-
short list? You did?
I believe it's been shortlisted.
Yeah.
and it was
Shortlisted.
Russia's entry for the best international feature.
for the Academy
For the
Awards.
Academy Awards.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
remember that.
Konchalovsky's had an odd career, to put it mildly. He came here, moved to America for a while, and he directed a film with Sylvester Stallone called Tango and Cash. I mean,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
his last American film, I think, was Runaway Train, which was also a pretty wild movie. And he's done everything in between.
Wow.
And this latest film, which Anthony Lane in the New Yorker wrote a great essay about, and he called it Konchalovsky's masterpiece. It's a hell of a film.
It's about
so
an
glad.
incident that occurred in Russia
In 1962, at the height of the
1962.
Cold War.
that was never, for 30 years, it was hidden
They buried it. They tried to erase it.
because it was a
from-
massacre
Yeah.
of the people protesting.
Yeah.
And, you think that,
Khrushchev is in power. And the essence of this story is that nobody knows who's responsible for what.
Mhm.
and nobody
No
really
one
cares.
trusts each other.
Nobody really cares as long as it's not them. I mean, that's really what it is.
You've got
All
the,
they do is
you got
push it
the
on to
army, you've
somebody
got the
else.
KGB, you've got the Communist Party
Right.
and its various committees.
I have social.
Um,
I have to read it. They call it socialism at that time.
Mhm.
I know we here called it
We knew it
communism.
as communism.
Yeah.
But
Alice
No.
says no. That's not what that is. No.
yet,
Yes.
Yet. That's
Yes.
not the right thing.
So it
anyway,
was-
it's
so
quite a
powerful.
film. It's quite a
And
film.
you just sit there and you
And
just
it's a neon release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
and
means, so Neon, the same folks that brought you Alamo Draft House, a lot of those folks are involved with Neon, which means that they tend to be a bit wild, a bit crazy, but definitely.
but also adventurous in there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the people
They're
who
bold.
they're the people
They're bold.
who bought the US rights to Parasite.
Oh yes, that was that was really fun because it meant that as we were doing awards season, we kept seeing our pals involved with Neon going around, and you never ever know. The bottom line is this: you never ever know what's going to be successful, ever. You can take a movie,
No
you
one
can
does.
fill it with stars, you can
Crapshoot.
do whatever you want. You cannot ever
you
know.
don't know what the public is really going to do. You just don't.
Now, obviously, I could get into like Marvel movies are going to be financially successful, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, in a general sense, you just don't know. And so for all of our pals who are used to dealing with the indie world, which is its own animal, to suddenly have Parasite being everywhere was really, really wild. How are the dogs? Thank you for asking. Hercules is asleep over there. Jude is downstairs with God bless him, my husband.
Jude having survived surgery.
Yes.
Yes.
Jude
Friday.
had surgery to remove a tumor on Friday. And she's doing okay. All things considered, she's all right.
And she, you know.
My baby, my poor baby.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's those times when you love an animal.
Yeah.
And when things start to happen, you go, well, is this it?
Our whole goal, without focusing too much on the pups, our whole goal is just to keep them happy and comfortable. That's all that matters.
Of Jude's life.
Happy and comfortable. Yes, the Owl Jolson shirt. This is it's one of my favorite cartoons ever. He's one of my favorite characters.
The cartoon is called I Love to Singa.
I love to singa about the moona and the Juna and the springa. I love to singa. It's the best. So if you don't know it, I recommend you look it up.
We just went from dear comrades to, I love to sing.
I think that represents us quite nicely. You know, we cut a wide swath
All
of
right,
this family.
so tell the story about your license plate.
Oh God. All right. See, I feel funny saying what my license plate is, but I
I don't think I would discuss that.
No.
You're the one who tried to say it the other day, you crazy woman.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, I can say it this. It's a line from I Love to Singa. And so sometimes people will see it and not know what it is. Other times they'll know exactly what it is, which is extra funny.
Yes.
So I'm driving and this guy pulls up next to me in what we would lovingly call a hoopty, which is to say the cars that bounce up and down. And especially if you grew up in LA, you see those and you go, oh my God, those are the ones that are all tricked out. And he starts yelling to me, and I'm just like, focus on the road, whatever, because I don't know what this person wants.
Please don't kill me.
I don't know what, but he's yelling, and I'm just like, oh God. Finally roll down the window, and the guy goes, "You love to sing about the Moona and the Juna and the Springa?" And I about died. And I was like, yes, I love you. Do you want to be best friends? This is fantastic. So that's probably one of my
And who introduced the song in the movie called The Singing Kid at Warner Brothers? Cab Calloway.
Ah, well, there you go.
Well, Al Jolson too, but Cab Calloway.
Synergy. Yeah. Green sleeves. Yeah, exactly. Green sleeves. Oh God, it's so funny. It's such
no,
a good
not
cartoon.
Green sleeves. Drink to me only with thine eyes.
Drink to me only. Oh God. And sorry, I won't. I can do the entire cartoon, but I won't. But you should look it up because it's a delight. Anyway, I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed the movie.
Oh, we are too.
Enjoyed is not the word. You kind of just sit there watching it because, and also you think about our country, and you realize really just how young we are as a country. Even though
we're babies,
and,
we'd be babies.
You know, it's really enlightening and
it's shot in black and white. In the old ratio, the nearly square.
Black and white is beautiful.
1:3 to 1 ratio.
It's beautiful, and it lends itself to the subject matter.
Format.
Yeah.
For putting you back in the framework of the early 60s.
Yes.
Yeah.
A couple of people are asking, since we're talking about cartoons, if you've seen the new Tom and Jerry film.
No, I haven't.
I think my favorite headline I saw was, the movie was terrible and it wasn't worth my time to write a clever headline. Something like that. So I don't know. Did Jerry see it?
He probably
did, but
I don't want to second guess him. But
I don't know. It's
I've decided that life's too short to spend any time watching films I don't want to see.
Yeah. And that's really the biggest difference since the Movie Guide ended.
Yeah.
Is it did give you.
Yeah. It gave me a fallback excuse.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
At
least I'll write it up for the Movie Guide.
Yeah. Leonard Maltin, lifelong fan. Thanks.
Thank you.
And his name is Zook the Gooch. Now that's.
I like that. I like
that's
that.
the name. It's a great cartoon. Where did she get the owl t-shirt? I got this. I think Redbubble or one of those. If you look up Owl Jolson, again, owl spelled like the owl as opposed to owl. It'll come up. So they are not everywhere, but they can be found on occasion. So I recommend it. I got you this shirt, me this shirt. Yeah.
Oh, I meant to write this down. Somebody tweeted and then sent me that link, and you printed out.
Yeah.
It was from a tweeter named, it was something nonsense. Nonsense was part of his handle.
Hang on, I'll find what you sent me.
This was a very elaborate, multi-part tweet.
Huge, yes.
Enormous, on classical music in old cartoons, which is one of my favorite subjects. And he not only identified in great detail, but did put together excerpt packages with links. A huge amount of work, but it's I copied it all. After you did that, I copied down the actual titles of the cartoons.
Sure.
The excerpted. I want to have all of it at hand.
It was really neat. Yeah, my dad forwarded this to me, and he goes, "I don't know how to save all of these, but I want them." And I said, "Okay, all right, I will go through." So I did. I just went through copy paste. I copy pasted this massive thread on Twitter. They say, let me find this. And something that you've always said to me is that you learned all of your, you learned most of your classic music from this.
Yes.
So
Largo El Factotum. How would I know that? La 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 from cartoons.
There you go. When in doubt, cartoons. Okay. His name is Vincent Alexander, and his handle on Twitter is Nonsense Island. Nonsense Island.
I like that.
So yes, Lynn saw that as well. It was fantastic thread. So much time and research. No kidding.
Oh yeah.
You
great.
know,
Just great.
It was wild. Hunter saying hiya from Michigan. Favorite Eddie Murphy film? Well,
oh gosh.
I like Trading Places. Yeah, I do like Trading Places.
Yeah.
Right. That's the one I
don't argue with yourself. I do. I do
well,
like
I was
that
thinking
one.
of Coming to America, which I also like.
Oh, it's just so
Trading
damn
Places.
funny. Coming to America. And you guys just watched the sequel.
We did
And
just
you
watch
liked
the
it.
sequel.
Yeah.
You liked it.
He liked it more than
I liked
did.
it more than Mommy
Yeah.
did. But it made me smile.
It's
Yeah.
everybody's there and they're older.
and
It's just funny.
And I'm still an Eddie Murphy fan.
Yeah.
I've always been an Eddie Murphy fan.
Yeah.
And that takes me back to Beverly Hills Cop. And is it my favorite? Well, it may well be, because it's the first time he was on the big screen, the starring role that was just so perfect.
Yeah.
It fit him like a glove, and yet it wasn't written for him. It was written for other actors, and they had various writers, depending on whose story you believe, come in and retool it for Eddie.
As you know, success has many fathers.
Yeah.
Failure's an orphan.
Failure's an orphan.
Yeah.
Success.
But Eddie's in good form here.
Yeah.
And I read an interview with the director, Craig Brewer, who also directed Dolomite Is My Name.
Which is very good.
That's a terrific movie too.
Kind of fell away, but it's really an interesting subject.
Oh, it didn't fall away while it was all happening.
No.
No. It's on Netflix. You can still watch it now. And I think
it's from our friends, Larry and Scott.
Larry Krasinski and Scott Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite thing was, again, during award season, he was at everything because he kept being given these honors for Dolomite. And it was sort of like the softer Eddie Murphy, like the gentler, softer Eddie Murphy that we were all sort of getting to see, which was really nice. I think that's, tricky. Oh, my husband is here, and he says Shrek is Eddie Murphy's finest work. You're right, sweetheart.
Well,
that's
You're
right.
right.
That's
It
true.
is.
That is.
And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
And that's okay. My favorite
That's my
line is his.
favorite
And in the
line.
morning, I'm making waffles. I like that one. Then I also I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder. That's the other one I say a lot.
Well, he's also great on Mulan, on the soundtrack of Mulan.
He's very, I think that especially if you grew up with him, there are certain people that just make you laugh, and he does. He makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And I do think that he, like a lot of comedic actors, can also do drama.
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
There are moments in the new Coming to America where he's not pushing for laughs.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, in some ways, he's the straight man in the movie.
Yeah.
Except when he's in character.
Right.
One of his
Arsenio is more the
Arsenio
comic
has,
relief.
Yeah. But he plays some scenes for sweetness and for being a husband, being a father,
yeah.
being a ruler of a country, going back to Queens where he, first met his wife, now the queen, and he couldn't have played these when he was in his 20s.
Right.
He's playing them now because it works. And his real life daughter plays his middle daughter.
Yeah.
He has 10 children.
3 princesses.
You got to make a lot of money. Take care of 10 children.
The next day, the distributor of the film, which is our friends at Amazon Prime, posted pictures of how in the pandemic all the stars were attending a non-premiere.
Yeah.
A virtual premiere at home. And for Eddie, there was just this lovely picture of him beaming with his daughter.
Yeah.
With fatherly pride. And that's not the public Eddie. That's not the Eddie we get to see.
No, we were just talking about this in regards to John David Washington and Denzel, that, there are times when you have some actors, and understandably, some people don't want to always have to talk about their mother, father, cousin, whatever it is. But something that's been really wonderful is that John David is really happy to talk about his dad.
He loves his parents.
And Denzel is really happy to talk about John David.
Which is really nice.
And obviously we're suckers for family stuff because
real life,
But it makes you smile.
It's very sweet
that they can enjoy each other that way and that they can be proud. That it isn't just a hindrance, because it could be. I mean, I can't imagine there are certain names like Denzel Washington where you say, do you really want to be his kid and start acting?
Yeah.
Exactly. That would be a hell of an ordeal, I would think.
It's up against a mountain.
But he's very good. John David is
very handsome and very
indeed.
Good.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, he is.
Handsome. Have you got a crush on him, Mama?
No,
she does.
No, I do. I find him very handsome.
He's a
I find
handsome
him an
man.
excellent actor.
He's got a great voice.
I think Mama and Papa should be very proud. Yeah.
I love it. Let me start to go through some questions.
Okay.
So we get through. I think so. One of my favorites actually is, how is Jesse like Leonard and how is Jesse like Alice? I thought that was really funny.
The more astute people we meet will tell you that she's a combination of the two.
I'm about 50-50.
Yeah. And I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
How? Well, the brashness comes from.
How dare you?
From Mama.
How dare you?
Yeah.
And the sometimes the brassiness when that comes out when appropriate.
Thank you.
It's in your quiver. It's and I don't know what you get from me.
You get smart.
So I always say that
smart. You're very smart.
When I'm with, thank you, Mama. When I'm with my mom, I have to be my dad. Which is to say that if I'm with my mom, I gotta calm her down a little bit because sometimes she is.
I don't know what she's talking about.
You just don't want to make her angry, is all.
No, that's true.
You don't want to be AT&T right now. That's let me tell you right now. You do not want to be AT&T because Alice is gonna stab somebody.
Oh, dear.
But and then when I'm with my dad, I have to be my mom and make sure that he's not just wandering off into the forest somewhere. And when my dad has to fly by himself, my mom and I are always sort of
hope he gets where he's
We're just
going.
like, oh God, just let him get there. Just let him get there.
That's all we're asking.
And I always reassure them that I may not get there in the most efficient way.
No.
But I get
eventually,
there. But you do get there.
Wind up there.
Yes,
and
you
poor
do.
Jessie, when she picks up the phone, we kind of have the same speech pattern. And as you were growing up, no, this is Jessie.
It still happens now.
I'll get
Answer
my
the phone.
mother.
Hi, Alice.
Yeah. It's not. It's
not.
Jessie.
It's Jessie. That's okay. Hey, there are worse things, right? Where were each of you born?
Well, Alice was born in the Bronx.
The Bronx.
And
a borough of New York City.
Born and raised, yes.
I was born in Manhattan, New York. And when I was 4, my family moved to Teaneck, New Jersey. And that's where I really grew up. But Teaneck was very close into the city.
It's so like a suburb almost.
Yeah.
There's the George Washington
They used to call it a
Bridge.
bedroom community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I spent a lot of time in New York.
Yeah.
And you were born right here. They used to say it was a rarity, a California, LA native.
I'm an actual Born and raised in LA.
Angelino.
Yes.
They're at Cedar Sinai Hospital.
They're about, yes, like a good Jewish baby born
That's
at
right.
Cedar Sinai.
Cedar Sinai. Yeah.
All right. Well, what's your favorite place to visit?
Maui.
Oh yeah, never a bad time, Mother.
Well, I love the UK. I do, but for relaxation, we always went to Maui.
Both my parents love being at the ocean.
I mean, yeah, and it just it was pretty intense when we were younger and working, and going to Maui, you just
it was a nice deep breath.
My first trip there, I took a picture of the ocean as seen through my toes. Because that was the image that I wanted to convey.
Ever the artist. What would be your favorite animated short that was animated in the Cinemascope? Wow. Cinemascope format.
Oh, that limits the number.
What's from Ryan? And Ryan always has those
detailed
animation questions for you.
Gee whiz, Ryan. Well, I'll say Lady and the Tramp, because that was the first Disney feature in widescreen. Mm-hmm. So I can't go wrong saying that.
That's fair. Do you have a favorite Hanna-Barbera character?
Oh, well, having witnessed the birth of almost all of them. I mean, I remember the night Huckleberry Hound. I remember Rough and Ready, their first TV cartoon, which was on Saturday mornings. And I remember the debut episode of Huckleberry Hound. It was really exciting. Mm-hmm. And it had this very lively theme song, and the biggest show in town is Huckleberry Hound. I mean, they were very canny.
Yeah.
Very, very smart guys. Yogi Bear. I guess Yogi Bear.
Who doesn't love Yogi? He's so good. With Coming to America out, when do you think it's okay for a sequel to draw on an original? And what point must a sequel be its own thing to be a legitimate story and not just a tired retread? Few, long one. Well,
very few. Most of them are just tired retreads.
Yeah.
This made money. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
You had The Godfather 2, which was rare in that it was not only just as good as the original, but maybe better.
Yeah,
and then they went ahead and they did 3. Not necessary, but okay.
I think that it depends on which movie you're looking at. If you're talking about something like Coming to America 2, what does everybody want? They want to see the cast back together. They want to see Eddie, and they want to see
even though
Arsenio.
It's been this many years.
Oh yeah. But that's kind of the joy. In the same way that all these TV shows that they brought back, and even these movies that they're doing, whether it's one-offs or whatever it is, there's something about bringing a certain cast together because you loved them. I mean, if the damn Friends cast every 5 seconds,
it's
just like, is there going to be a reunion? Is there going to be a reunion?
Apparently there is. It's comfort food.
100%.
Especially now during the pandemic, when we all need those things that bring us comfort and peace. Yeah.
I'd like to dive into the past just for two examples that prove that you can't make generalizations without pricking holes in it. 2 of my all-time favorite movies. They're in my top 10. The Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart, and His Girl Friday with Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell.
One of the best movies ever made.
Those were both remakes.
Yeah.
His Girl Friday.
That's getting into a remake.
And that was done even again.
As opposed to a sequel.
Oh, I'm getting...
Yeah, that's okay. No.
I'm so easily flummoxed these days.
It's okay.
I'm just calling
everything on
I'm just calling it COVID brain. That's it.
Yeah, blame it on COVID. Whatever works. Whatever works. Yeah. No, but I mean that's the case too. Is that sometimes when you remake a film, there's an actual purpose, and other times you go, why? But with sequels, as I say, I think that there are those that are made for the purpose of just making everybody happy, and comfort food is the perfect term, Mama. 100%.
Thank you.
And then there are the ones where, just an example, the Toy Story films, where they're actually trying to have different storylines.
But they've broken every
Pixar
rule, every commandment, every cliche there is, including a reference in Toy Story 2 to the fact that they didn't expect Toy Story to be such a hit.
Yeah.
And didn't have merchandise ready in time.
Yeah. But that's the thing. So you sort of, to me, different films, different things. I
Yeah.
think that if there's anything that you've taught me is the whole idea is to meet every film
On its own
terms. So again, if I'm watching a reunion, essentially like Coming to America 2, what do I want from it? I want to be happy. I want to watch it and I want to smile and I want to laugh. And if that happens, it's succeeded. If you go in and, I mean, I don't think anybody looks at the James Bond films as being a part 2, part 3, part 4.
No.
But in essence, you know, it's the same character, but different stories.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it just depends on what you're trying to achieve. Do you have any favorite movie urban myths? You know, like Stan Laurel being Clint Eastwood's father. I've never heard that.
Oh yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
That is a thing.
The Bing
It's a
Crosby
thing.
is.
It's a thing that maybe 11 people subscribe to, but
Right. I've never
it's
heard
a thing.
that.
Well, it's been run by me before. Absolutely.
Jeez.
Well, I guess, not a favorite urban legend because I don't care for it, but that Walt Disney is frozen.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Not just that he's frozen, it's that his head is frozen.
Yeah.
It'd be bad enough if it was all of him, but it's that everyone says that his head is frozen.
And
why?
We were at an event with Diane Disney Miller, his surviving daughter, who's out sadly
Now not surviving
also
at the
not
moment.
surviving.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it was a panel, and the very first, the first thing,
No. It wasn't
No.
the first thing. It was
Daddy had done the whole panel.
The panel was winding down actually, and someone asked Diane.
No,
So see, I thought
you
she
said,
said-
"Is there anything else you want to say?"
No.
this is good.
That was
It'll
the
be the three
Academy.
of us. See,
Yeah.
I thought she did it right off the bat, saying he's not frozen.
No.
Okay.
She. There was laughter dying down from the previous questions, and she said, "Well, he's not frozen." And I was sitting right next to her, so I heard her clearly, but it was obvious that most of the people in the audience didn't hear it. So I said, "Say that again, please." And then it got the
Right.
roaring reaction
He's not
that it
frozen.
deserved to get.
Because he's not.
He's not frozen. No.
What are your
He's
thoughts
right
on
there in Glendale.
Yeah, right. He's not frozen. He's in Glendale.
Glendale. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Bruce Lee's impact and his films then and now? Do you have a favorite?
I haven't seen enough Bruce Lee films to give you a really good answer to that. I mean, he didn't make that many.
Mm-mm.
And so, Enter the Dragon is kind of, sort of the pinnacle and the start, the beginning, the everything. His impact is still resounding.
Yeah.
And
Especially when you consider he died so young.
yeah.
Well, but as
You
we
know?
know, that's part of what can create a legacy is
Sure.
when someone's frozen in time. And that is
But
the
not
case.
really frozen.
Not Walt Disney frozen.
No.
But when we talked, whether it's Marilyn Monroe or James Dean or any
Right.
of those sort of visually iconic.
People who
types of
died
people.
before their time.
Yeah. And Bruce Lee is definitely in
Yeah.
that. And then, of course, the fact that his son died so young,
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
it's a crazy.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun many years ago now discovering Jackie Chan's films that he made over there.
Well, they brought him. They introduced him. They tried to foist him on American audiences who weren't prepared,
That's your phone.
I know it
Yeah.
is.
who didn't really know him well,
Yeah.
and so we started looking at his Hong Kong movies, and they started re-releasing them theatrically. So we had the good fortune of seeing some of those films on a big screen, and wow,
Knockouts.
absolute
Knockouts.
knockouts. And
Just turn your ringer off, Mama.
Oh, I know. I
Ma-
was just
made
going
when-
to answer. Okay. Yeah.
made when he
No,
was
don't answer.
No, I
made
was
when
gonna,
he was-
it's a text. I wasn't going to.
made when he was a little younger and at his absolute peak.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
it's amazing. It's amazing to watch him. Robin Smith is asking, which film historians do you admire?
What?
Well,
Kevin Brownlow.
it starts with
Kevin
Kevin Brownlow.
Brownlow.
It does.
It all starts with Kevin
Yeah.
I
Brownlow.
mean, there's so many people now who, underneath them, when they're doing any kind of speaking, they're film historians, and we've never heard of them. And that's kind of funny because, we've read a lot of books and we've heard many. And then these other people who say that they are.
I've been to some big towns. I heard me some big talk.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I know. Anyway.
Oh, I love that. That's great. That's why I love him.
Thank Johnny Mercer. Anyway, there's so much. Scott Eyman is a biographer primarily, but he is a historian.
And he loves movies.
James Curtis, who's written wonderful books, is biographer / historian.
Mark Harris.
Harris.
David Thompson.
These are all people who've earned their bones.
Yeah. Well, and several of your friends who are no longer with us, whether it's, Herb and that, the folks.
Well, William
back
K.
in the
Everson.
day,
Excuse me, one
your
moment.
hero.
William
Father,
K. Everson.
yes.
Like saying Randolph Scott.
Randolph Scott. Yes.
Yeah.
Bill Everson, William K. Everson, one
Who
of your
wrote
heroes.
Who wrote the book on Charlie Chaplin.
No.
No, he didn't. What am I thinking of then?
Someone wrote a book on someone once.
That's right.
Theodore
Huff
Huff.
Society.
Theodore Huff Society.
That's where I first.
Who Bill memorialized by
Yes.
naming.
Yes.
That's where I first saw Bill. Yeah.
But your friend who passed away, Shepard.
David
David
Shepard.
Shepard, and also
David was a
Stacey's
historian. Rudy Bellmer. Rudy Bellmer. Da-da.
Yeah.
Rudy Bellmer. One of the and who was in advertising. There was no
He was
living
so
to be
sweet.
made as a
Oh,
film
God,
historian. There
no.
still isn't.
Yeah. Don't go into it if you're thinking.
Not what we call a growth industry, but
as David Burns, the actor, said, "Marry money."
still good advice.
Still good advice. Yeah, right.
yes.
We all failed on that
Yeah.
one.
I'm afraid
Good job,
so, yes.
us.
Always good advice.
Uh,
Anyway, there's so many that I admire. And some like David Shepard were archivists, and that's how they brought film history to life. Some were archivists and writers, like the biographers I just named. And everybody that I've forgotten or left out, I apologize.
Yeah.
Well,
We just had on our podcast John Burlingame and Stephen Smith, who are both soundtrack experts.
Yep.
That's not the limit of their
music
expertise.
and
No,
everything
no.
else.
But they know everything that you could possibly want to know about film music. And so when they're writing about something contemporary or something old, they have a context.
Yeah.
They understand the continuity. They understand, what it's all about.
I think it's a very small, if you don't know, it's a very small community. The
I'm
film
thinking of Ron
archivists.
Haver.
Oh,
I mean,
it's a whole,
Yeah.
the film archivists, the film historians, it's a very small community and everybody knows everybody. And for the most part, it's a group of people who love sharing their knowledge.
Not in it for the money.
Are some of them nuts? Yes, of course. But in
But
general,
there are nuts. Okay,
yeah,
they belong
exactly.
to
They're
us.
ours.
Yeah.
We love them. Joe Franklin.
Franklin.
Yes, Phil says Joe Franklin. But no, there are a lot of people that we know who work really, really hard. We have a lot of friends who work at the Academy.
And of course,
Randy Haberkamp.
I mean,
and
without
my-
these people, there wouldn't be film history.
and my pal Jerry Beck.
Yeah,
Oh, Jerry
of
Beck,
course, Jerry Beck.
Yeah, we could go on,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of people who work really, really hard to make sure Serge
Serge
Bromberg in
who
Paris.
will
Lobster
hopefully be doing a new he's going to be starting up a Kickstarter. Basically, Serge does these fantastic presentations.
Retour de Flamme.
He's
Saved from the flame.
That's right, except
He's
he
a
does light
Renaissance
things
man.
Yeah.
saved from the flames, except for the thing he lights on fire, but that
Yes.
you have
That's
to
right.
see for
But
yourself.
But he's also a word we haven't used yet. He's also a showman.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much so. But yeah, again, we're very lucky. We know a lot of wonderful people who work their butts off. Folks at the George Eastman House, Paolo Kerke Osai, all kinds of folks.
Yes.
There's a lot of really
Yes,
wonderful
yes.
people out there. Someone just asked, how did you guys meet and what was your first date? Which is a story I enjoy immensely.
Well,
As you've heard my mom say before, she saw my dad and said, I want him for
Christmas. And that was the end of May.
let's
when
do
I
the
said that.
real short version.
Yep.
Real short version.
Yep.
My good friend Herb Graff known to Jesse as Uncle Herb.
Uncle Herb.
And Professor Graff at NYU.
Was teaching a evening extension course at NYU. And Alice signed up for it because it was affordable.
Yeah.
And Herb had a guest lecture almost every week talking about mostly his area of expertise. I was going to say his or her, but I don't think there were any
The class was called Film Genres. I don't know what it meant, but it sounded good.
So I came in to talk about animated cartoons.
Yep.
And Alice tried to approach me after the class.
I tried to pick him up. Yeah.
And I was unresponsive.
I was a cute thing. I'll tell you that.
But also, Alice was 30 and Leonard was 23.
That's right.
So she knew what she was doing. He didn't.
I was cute. Yeah, he had no idea.
Rarely do. But but a few weeks later, Herb invited Alice to come to a screening of Bill Everson's Theodore Huff Film Society at the School of Visual Arts on East 23rd Street. And as I arrived, he was just leaving and saying, he said, I don't feel good. I got to go home. But would you look out for that girl from my class, Alice? You remember her? I said, no. He said, well, you'll see her, just, make sure she's comfortable and all that. I said, fine. So because of the motley nature of the attendees at the Theodore Huff Society, it was quite clear when Alice walked in the room, she didn't belong. And
not just because she was a female person,
right?
And there weren't a lot of them.
But I love film, so.
Well, I waved at her, and she came and sat with me, and so we sat together and watched 2 silent movies. We watched The Whip by Maurice Tourneur and Open All Night, with Adolphe Menjou and others, and Raymond Griffith, among others. So any woman who would sit through 2 silent movies, this bore further investigation. And I'll shorten the rest of the story. And weeks later, we went on a date and we got married.
Right away. I mean, right away, we just meshed. And literally, we got engaged. I mean, it was July. And then by Labor Day, we got engaged.
It was fate.
It was fate. And
it was meant to be.
And it really was meant to be.
Yeah,
I was just waiting for him to grow up. I've always said that.
She's still waiting.
I'm still waiting. He's
got a long way to go, man.
Watches all these movies. Oh,
can you recommend a movie review show / podcast? I miss keeping up with the movies by watching Siskel and Ebert and Hot Ticket. Oh man, Hot Ticket. That's a long time ago.
Wow.
I was 16 when you. Yeah.
You
Hot Ticket. That's the theme song every time I hear it. Hot Ticket all the time.
No, I can't.
No.
I don't have time to listen to podcasts. Most people listen to podcasts while they're commuting, while they're working out, Well,
you have your 2 go-tos. You love Mark Maron and you love Doug Benson.
Yeah.
But they're not reviews. So we don't really watch reviews.
No, I don't think there is one on now. Am I wrong?
Well, there's 1,000 podcasts.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the same way
no.
you had Siskel and Ebert.
There's nothing the equivalent of them either. I mean, our friends at Cinema Sins do a really good job.
Yes. But there's nothing on the network, so to speak.
Well, that's a 20th century mindset.
What is a network?
Yeah, I know.
Peter Fitzgerald says, "Who of the film documentarians do you like other than me?"
Well, Peter, you've always done good work, so it's easy to like you.
There's a guy named Errol Morris. I think you like.
Yeah, that Errol Morris fellow.
Film star.
Oh, film star.
No, film documentarians.
Film documentarians.
Listen, you two.
And who's that woman who does such?
Who's that woman?
She's the daughter of. I'm terrible with names, honey. It's okay. It'll come.
COVID brain. Peter, you're great.
Yeah.
No. Well, we know the kind of documentaries that we enjoy. It's you have someone like Ken Burns, where there's a reason why he's been doing this for a million years, because he does it really well. His daughter Sarah has also become a documentarian, and she's really, really good. I think, we've talked about one of the greatest joys of going to a film festival are those documentaries. I always say this, documentaries are my favorite because you just never know what you're going to find.
Watch them. because you're busy watching other stuff.
Yeah. But you just never know what you're going to find. So you have someone like everyone's favorite. Werner Herzog.
Werner Herzog.
You have Werner, and
I
we did interview Werner for the podcast. You can listen to that.
He has gotten really sweet and mellow.
He's hilarious.
He's mature.
He wouldn't
hilarious.
like being called sweet.
He would not like
I
that.
forgot that. I'm sorry.
He's so funny. I adore him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot.
Too many to name.
Yeah.
Really, I'm not trying to wriggle out of it.
Right, and there
There's
are
too
women,
many
and
to name.
I'm feeling rather
Men
silly
and
that I
women.
can't remember names.
Well, and I will tell you that one of the best documentaries that you've been touting now ever since you saw it in Telluride,
Pamela Green's
Alice Guy Blanchet,
Be Natural.
Be Natural.
The story of the woman whose absence from virtually all film history books and documentaries was not accidental, and is the appreciation of her and her work.
Was she the first?
It's
woman
still
to do what she did?
just beginning,
Yeah.
just in earliest stages, and Pamela's film has a lot to do with that.
Sorry, Jesse. Jerry Dean says that the short version of your love story is short version. First date, Jesse, this couch. Nailed it. How do you rate Barfly?
I like Barfly.
There you go.
I like Barfly very much. I never read Charles Bukowski, so.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Mike is just reminding the movies that made me, the Joe Dante podcast.
Oh yeah, Josh Olson.
And Joe Dante's podcast. That is a great one.
These are real film buffs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference between, I like movies and I see a lot,
Yeah.
and people who have actually studied and know the history.
And devoted their lives.
Right. Yeah.
I think the thing that we all deal with a lot is, and this is why the reason my mom's saying it like that is that it's easy. Anybody can call themselves anything.
Sure. A film critic.
You can be an
everyone's got
actress.
opinions,
You can be a director, whatever you like. But the idea is that why do you want to listen to what someone has to say? Well, because they put in that time.
Yeah.
And they have.
Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours.
Exactly.
Right.
They put in the time and the effort and the care and the love. And that is, that's why when they tell you they like something or don't like something, there's a background to it.
Right.
There's
Chuck
credence
Jones
to it.
liked quoting Robert Frost, who said, "Poet is a gift word.
Yes.
You can't bestow it on yourself. Someone else has to call you a poet for you to be accepted as a poet."
And I love that term. Ever since he said it, it's a gift word. So that's to me how I view the same sort of thing as our friends who are historians and archivists, and this is what they've put their whole life into it. I'm very careful with the words I choose to describe people, and that's definitely it.
Oh, The Kid Stays in the Picture. I like that film, and it's very good and very well made. But I like even better Robert Evans' audio reading of the autobiography, because he'd had a stroke by the time they made the film, and so he was diminished somewhat by that stroke. He actually survived, and lived for a good many years after that. But when he recorded the book, he was punching his weight, and just one of the most pleasurable things I've ever listened to.
You and Robert Evans at TCM was a kick. There are those people where you do not know what they're going to say. You really don't. You don't know what they're going to say. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't necessarily know if they're going to play ball or if they're just going to be wild. And he comes out, and first of all, that TCM audience, they are eating up every word he says. Yeah. But the two of you on stage together, that was definitely a life highlight. But man, oh man. The ninth configuration is, in my opinion, an oddball treasure. Thoughts on the film?
I won't pussyfoot around it. I never saw it.
There you go.
I signed it to someone else for the movie guide, and I never saw it.
Well, I think a lot less of you now.
Yesterday was Lou Costello's birthday. So Steve watched his favorite Abbott and Costello, The Wistful Widow of Wagon Gap.
Really? That's not many people's favorite, but you're entitled.
Do you have a favorite?
Well, I'm a sucker for Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Yes. Mama?
Well, yes, I agree. Absolutely. I do agree. Yeah. I just love
Oh,
Chuck. Oh dear.
You, by the way, can figure out all the sound effects that go on in this house. There's so many things.
It's not easy. I just want to say that I was not looking for a husband when I met Leonard. I really wasn't, because I thought I'd never find anybody.
Well, to be 30 in 1974 and single meant she'd basically died already.
Well, you go off.
Yeah.
What you do is you jump off the George Washington.
You do. You jump off the George
Exactly.
Washington Bridge. You say goodbye, thank you.
I saved her from a life of spinsterhood.
You did.
And I saved him
You
from
did.
sitting in the dark alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now he sits in the dark with her.
With me, exactly. But my family, we're all film buffs. We always stayed to the end.
I thought you were going to say
Once-
your family had written you off.
I mean
have
that
written me
too.
off, but that's something I asked you not to say anything. Anyway,
I mean that
we
too.
watched
yeah.
movies. My parents, my brother, we just loved it, and we would stay and watch the credits, and my friends would laugh at me. Who's the second unit director?
Do you
know.
remember what happened the first time I went and saw a movie with somebody else? You remember about this? That I stayed
Yeah,
in the
were
theater?
they were getting up to leave.
No. The first time that I went to see a movie with someone else, I went with my friend and her dad. And when the movie ended, they got up and left, and I stayed put and watched the credits. At the end, he comes back in and he starts yelling at me because he thought that I'd stayed and I wasn't supposed to, and he's in charge of us. And I said to him, well, you don't leave before the credits are finished. And he said, well, your parents are, I have to watch you and make sure that you're okay. So where he was coming from was just being a parent who was worried about me,
Yes.
but
And to take the responsibility.
he was trying to get me to leave and I just couldn't. It's like, no. Jerry's asking last week's question about non-Disney films. I know how much you liked Sita Sings the Blues.
Yes.
I want everyone to discover that little gem. Could you please talk about it? That was a fascinating journey, that film.
Nina Paley.
I think so.
It's a virtual one-woman
Yeah.
tour de force, almost indescribable movie.
Yeah, Nina Paley.
Nina
well done,
Paley.
yeah.
And it's available online. You can get it from any number of sources.
Yeah.
At one time, she was giving it away for free
She had to.
because she couldn't afford to license the music
Yep.
that she used. She used wonderful vocals by Annette Hanshaw, who was a very popular singer in the late 20s, early 30s. And yet it's a film based on her own experiences,
Mhm.
having lived with an animator,
Yep.
fellow American animator, who with her went to India, where they were working on an assignment together, and they split. And I can't tell you much more than that.
No, but it was a whole thing where she had to distribute it herself. You could buy the film from her on the website.
Yep.
And this is in 2008. I just looked it up. It's 2008 already, that
Wow.
long ago. An excellent film, but it was really, really tricky because they didn't quite know what to do.
And it's also a meta film on two levels,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a film about the making of the film, and it's a film about the real life story that inspired
Yeah.
the making of the film that they're now making.
It's the whole thing is fascinating.
It's really good.
It really, really is. Which genre of movies does mom know more than dad? They both have. So, okay, my mom has a great eye and can identify an actor in about 7 seconds. She also has a great ear and can identify a voiceover.
We were only married a short time. We were living on West 79th Street. Came home late one Saturday night, and I inherited this habit from her. Turn on the TV as a nightlight as we're getting undressed, getting ready to go to bed. And she goes into the bathroom, closes the door, and the TV is on, and they're playing Omar Khayyam with Cornel Wilde, 1957 movie. And a character actor is speaking. I said, "All right, you're so smart, you're so good. Who's talking?" And through the door, she says, "Morris Ankrum." I said, "I want a divorce."
I got it.
I want a divorce. She was right, of course.
You're just,
No, so I would say that everybody has different skills.
Mhm.
skill
That's the
set,
thing.
yeah.
Everybody's got a
50s
different thing they
because-
do well.
Yeah, what is it? Alice is 7 years older than I am.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up in the 50s,
Young.
A young 7 years.
in the 50s and into the mid 60s, I
60s,
never
nothing.
saw films like Love Is a Many Splendored Thing. Why would a kid want to see that? Three Coins in the Fountain. Why would a kid want to see that? Peyton Place. I didn't see any of those glossy melodramas, soap operas, and I've spent my whole life catching up with them. But Alice knows them all.
Yeah, I was there.
I was there.
I was there. I watched.
So I would say that, and then obviously my dad knows more animation wise.
Oh, sure. No,
that is.
He's a walking encyclopedia.
I'm sitting now.
Hey, you.
He's a sitting.
You're a sitting encyclopedia. That's really funny. Sorry. Oh, somebody very kindly is saying that they grew up watching you from Ireland, watching you on Entertainment Tonight.
Oh my!
And that you. Sorry, it's moving. 1 second, I'm gonna find it again. Watching you as a child in Ireland, plus your work on the WB DVDs.
Oh,
and you were very important to me in my love of film. So thank you, sir.
Oh,
well, that's very kind.
That's a lovely comment. Thank you so much. Across the sea.
Yeah, we've talked about before. The craziest thing about television, and certainly Entertainment Tonight when it was on, was that it was global.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think it's the coolest thing in the world that, you go different places and somebody will say, oh my gosh, I grew up watching you, pretty mind blowing.
It is. And this is equally this is even more
this
mind-blowing.
Is wild. Yeah.
The fact that it's instantaneous now, that we can communicate with people around the world.
Yeah. I think it's really, really neat. This is an interesting question. So Hunter, and then I promise I'll let you show off your goodies.
All right.
Hunter is saying, do you prefer movies to be canceled or to have warnings? Well,
of the two, warnings.
Warnings, always warnings.
Warnings.
You should be able
anything
to discuss
anything but cancellation. I just don't cotton to that. And there are some films that are awkward. There's no question about it. And this has been much talked about in the last few weeks, especially. There's some films that it is very awkward to screen for an audience. But
or you forget that something's in a movie or a cartoon,
right?
And you go,
right.
oh no!
Yeah. So I'm not looking to create discomfort or to insult anybody. Certainly not insult anybody on the basis of race, gender, national origin, ethnicity, any of those things. But if it's possible to show it and have somebody there to put it into context, cultural, historical context, that is preferable.
Wouldn't you rather learn or teach than erase? I would rather learn. I would rather show someone something and explain it and have them understand. And of course, the biggest issue is if you cut something out and pretend it never existed, then it can happen all over again.
Yeah.
Like that's,
it's a difficult subject, but I don't agree with.
And I applaud Turner.
Mimi says, like one of my favorite movies, Holiday Inn. Absolutely.
Yes,
indeed.
We were just talking about this last night. Yeah.
And I applaud TCM for what they're doing. They are swallowing the bitter pill and doing what is the right and responsible thing to do, because they know they have a smart audience.
Yeah.
They know that their audience is not full of yahoos and dummies. And there may be a few. Far be it for me to characterize
Far be it
anybody.
for you.
But they know that their audience is appreciative of those efforts.
Yeah.
That piece they did about blackface is uncomfortable to watch.
But you need to learn.
You need to learn it.
You need
to know why and how it came about, and not to point the finger of blame.
And also, if when you were growing up, for instance, when they were showing the Charlie Chan movies, very early on, they had a whole group discussion because many people who are Asian said it was very hard. When they would be in class, they would imitate Charlie Chaplin, and they were embarrassed. Charlie Chan.
It'd be funnier if they imitated Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. So and you realize that was very hard for them.
Yeah. But that's the way that we
can't
feel.
Erase Charlie Chan.
I think it's so valuable to learn. And look, if something does make you uncomfortable, if it offends you, you do not have to watch it.
That's right. That's
genuinely. Again, my parents and I've had this conversation now a lot. But they know I have a really tough time with Step and Fetch It characters. We won't go into that. We've discussed it a bit, but you can look up Step and Fetch It characters. Sorry.
Stepin.
Yes.
Lincoln Theodore Perry was his real name.
Yeah. But it became also just sort of the name of those kinds of characters.
Those kinds of characters.
And I have a very hard time watching them. So there was...
Which is an appropriate response.
Yeah, just you don't want to watch it. So my parents were watching something. That character came in, and I said to my dad, I can't keep watching this because it's too upsetting to me. So then we turned it off. And,
Now you have that right. You can just click it and turn it off or go to another channel.
So again, everybody's entitled to, however they feel about something. And no, your feelings are valid, whatever they may be. But of course, your feelings do not mean that you get to dictate how everyone else feels. And like that.
Somebody say bookmarks.
Say, Dad, do you have any great bookmarks to share?
I do.
You do.
I do. Here's one, dates from the 1920s.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's hard to see. You got to kind of get the reflected light.
I'll help.
That is a portrait of B.B. Daniels, a Paramount star. They did several of these, and the idea is this is a die-cut piece here, and you can slide it over the page. It's really
beautiful.
Over the page that you're reading.
It says Paramount star, and underneath B.B. Daniels. It's really neat looking.
And this is a cool one because this is one for a film. A silent comedy where Eddie Cantor played a mail delivery man.
It says Eddie Cantor in Special Delivery, a Paramount picture, will rip the town open with laughter.
You see, so it ties in with this. It's also a letter opener.
It's a letter opener. See what they did there? They made it a letter opener. There you go.
Then there are more conventional bookmarks that they produced, especially if there was a literary background to the movie.
Anna says, nice bookmark. Thanks, Anna.
Yeah, those are great. I love those kind of things.
Here's a bookmark with suggestions for further reading about Robin Hood.
So at the top, now their dashing deeds will live for ages. The Adventures of Robin Hood, all in Technicolor, starring Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland, Basil Rathbone, Claude Rains. Enjoy Robin Hood starting Friday, May 27th, State Theater. You'll enjoy the many fine books on Robin Hood and his outlaw band available in your Minneapolis. Not in your books, Minneapolis. And then it lists other things. So there's a story of Robin Hood and his merry men, merry outlaws, all sorts. So there's this guy.
And here's one for Alice's favorite actor, Ronald Colman.
And this
is die cut, which is even harder.
It says, the dramatic successor to David Copperfield, Ronald Colman in Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities, a Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer production with Elizabeth Allen, Edna May Oliver, Henry B. Walthall, Basil Rathbone. Basil Rathbone's all over these bookmarks, man. Reginald Owen, Blanche Yurka, that's a name. Carolina Theater, 4 days starting Sunday, January 19th.
See, and they would make these available to the local theaters. And if the theater owner wasn't a cheapskate, he would order a couple hundred, a couple of thousand of these. Here's another one based on a best-selling book, which is why a bookmark is appropriate.
The Good Earth, starring Paul Muni and Louise Reiner. Thank you. Water Colony? Jesus, Jesse. Walter Connolly, Tilly Lush, Charlie Grapewind.
What a hell of an Asian
honestly,
cast.
RKO Orpheum Theater, special limited engagement, 3 days only.
This is based on the best-selling novel by Pearl S. Buck, and not an Asian American.
You don't have to,
in the cast. No. Well, someplace in the background.
Maybe.
But, and this is these are great. These are on linen or silk. What would you call this?
I don't know. Something. It feels a bit like ribbon.
Yeah, ribbon. I think it's a good word. Too.
Coming, The Black Swan in Technicolor, Tyrone Power, Maureen O'Hara.
Based on the novel by Raphael Sabatini.
And you can see they're bendy.
They have a lovely feel to them.
Yeah.
Tactile. They're
tactile. Going to the theater and you get these things. I mean, it's genius.
Springtime in the Rockies. When is the Leonard Maltin bookmark coming out? They could have witty quotes from his reviews.
We're working on it.
Well, we do actually. We have merch. We have merch that exists on TeePublic.
That's TEE.
TEE Public. But I don't think that we have bookmarks there.
But
Perhaps I shall inquire.
A good thought.
And see what I can do.
A good thought.
Mama, did you bring anything down?
I did
Because I
bring-
believe I see. What's the giant statue there?
Well, that's my favorite people over there.
Oh, well.
Okay. Yes. For Nelson, Admiral Nelson, the big battle in 1805. So they went around in 1905. This is Royal Dalton, and made all these different things to celebrate him. And
If someone celebrated me with this, I'd be very upset.
okay, England expects every man will do his duty. Hey, Scott.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, they're beautiful, and you know, I just really like
Large?
them. Large. Did you say large? And this.
Hang on a sec. Hang on.
Okay.
We're still showing this
Right,
off.
and they did
We're
a
still showing it
lot
off.
of it.
This is heavy.
Yeah, it's stoneware.
It's no kidding.
I mean, that's the interesting thing. It's
No
quite
kidding.
solid, and it was done in 1905, and they did all sorts of things. I like this because it's a match striker, is what it is.
Where do you
This
strike the match?
Well, here's the match, and you get it on the bottom.
I don't want to call you a liar.
Well, not in front of everybody.
I
you don't
think
wanna-
I think maybe that this is where you held matches,
Okay.
because this is glazed on the bottom. I don't think one could do that.
Okay.
Ah, yes.
Yes, because tonight
Is the
know,
Oprah special?
Oprah is
Now, Oprah got $7 million
Yeah,
for delivering a special, and you paid
$7 million.
I paid I don't know,
For
Mm-hmm.
maybe
this-
$200, I think it was.
It's Meghan and Harry.
And that's Royal Dalton, and they've always done things for the royal family, for
Yeah.
the marriages, the deaths. Now, I don't think, given what's gone on, they've actually done anything else. I don't think they've done anything for Archie, their son.
No, we have some Archie stuff.
But I mean, Royal Dalton. good
Oh, Royal
stuff.
Dalton.
I'm talking
Wow.
about good stuff. I'm not talking about what you buy in a
Yes.
in a store as you're going to go home at the airport. I'm talking about stuff like this.
Flusky,
Piffle.
let's not hit the table where the thing is.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Does anyone want to go for a ride? No, they don't. Very ornate and beautiful. As an Irish person, I'll forgive the fact it's Nelson related.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
No,
there you
we
go.
we have all kinds. If this is your first time joining us, my mom collects Royal British commemoratives. We have a little bit of everything all over the house, and I love the pieces because I love the history.
Yeah, I do. I
Um,
love the history too, and there are times I want to smash this piece because I'm not a fan of
Alice does not like Meghan,
Meghan.
and
Not only me, but
Yeah.
your mother-in-law feels the same way, Jesse.
Yes,
All right,
And
let's just
she's British.
yes.
let's just sort of leave that be.
Mike says she's not talking Funko Pops. Yeah, I actually got her the Funko Pops of the royal family because they're so funny.
I
So we
have
do
that.
have them. There's even little corgis, little Funko Pop corgis with the Queen. They're very cute. In general, we're not Funko collectors, but every
No.
now and then there's something that's funny and that we enjoy. But man, oh man, is that all of your stuff to
Yes,
share,
that's
my
what
friends?
I brought. That is what I brought. Yes.
Well, man, thank you guys as always for joining us. We really do love getting a chance to sit with you and share this stuff. Lynn would pay admission to see your collection, Mama. Lynn, I'll walk you around sometime
More
and show
than
you
welcome.
some of her
You
toys.
don't have to pay anything.
But yeah, it's I love. Someone did ask earlier if the coffee tin there had any meaning. My dad just really likes old advertising
pieces.
stuff.
Yeah. No.
So we have a number of those
and
types of
we
things.
have also royal, coronation and stuff related tins and whatnot.
Boy, do we got stuff.
We got stuff. I'm
All right,
telling you.
I'll do this last Mama. Every time you do that, it makes the whole thing shake.
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Peter Fitzgerald said, "Leonard, you are a national treasure. Thank you.
Aw.
He's pretty cute.
Oh, shucks.
We'll
Thank
keep
you.
him." And Timothy Bass says, "Best film about English royalty."
Oh,
Oh, well, so much of it is, it's not really the real stories. And I don't.
Private Life of Henry VIII.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate because it's the history and it's old. But I don't think of the current people, and I'm talking about whether it's Edward the Eighth, who, by the way, I should tell you, people say, I remember when I started collecting, there's no Edward the Eighth because he was not crowned. He went off with Wallace Simpson. That's not true.
There's all kinds of stuff, and we own it.
Tons of stuff. I don't know. I don't think there's anything. I mean, I think we got The Crown now. I think that's pretty much it.
The Crown is probably the closest. I know it's obviously not a film. Oh, and King's Speech is great.
Oh, King's Speech is great too.
There are a number of really well-made
Peter
movies.
Peter Morgan, who created The Crown, also wrote
The
Queen.
King's Speech is a wonderful movie. Yeah,
but I think that's sort of where my mom is going to get into sort of the picky parts. Is it a great film or is it accurate to the story?
I think it's pretty accurate.
Oh no, it is. No, I'm just saying. But there are so many films.
Colin Firth. I mean,
Alice nearly killed us all to get to Colin Firth.
That's not true.
That's a story
You're in my way. I told you to get out of my way.
Story for another day. That time that my mom was going to get us kicked off an airplane because she was going to lunge through the seat in front of us and get
he's
to that.
He's such a sweet man and very, very. I think he's shy, actually.
I'm sure he's shy. I'm sure he was also terrified.
Terrified, yes.
Terrified.
Yes.
I would have been.
Many people have.
She's very small, but if she comes running at you at a certain speed.
They don't get out of the way. That's their problem.
I know, right? Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you to the folks who joined us on Patreon as well. It's very, very kind of you and very generous. We love doing this and we love hanging out with you. You can find us my dad's on Facebook. We're both on Twitter and Instagram, Jesse Maltin, Leonard Maltin. We're trying to upload more stuff to YouTube again. So much is going on. You try to keep up.
And my home away from home, my website, leonardmaltin.com.
leonardmaltin.com. He's just wrote a really interesting piece about the real Billie Holiday since the film has just come out. And I cannot recommend it enough. And if you're a jazz buff or if you love music, he's linked a couple of really fantastic YouTube clips that are just glorious.
And that's an accompaniment to my negative review of the United States versus Billie Holiday.
Picky. Well, anyway, everybody be safe.
Everybody stay safe. Now we got our shots. Whenever you can, get your shots. We do want to try and get back to normal. And the only way it's going to happen is if everybody gets their shots, really.
I'm now picturing my mother walking up and down Ventura Boulevard with a syringe going, "You, sir! Yeah. Squish, squish!" Yes. Anyway,
thank everybody you so much for taking the time to be with us. Thank you. Bye-bye.